Well, there might be some form of justice left in this country. One of my viewers that sends me an awful lot of good material just sent me a rather interesting article. You know, if you've watched some of my recent videos, I spoke about Dorian Johnston, and I wondered why he wasn't arrested and charged with crimes that resulted in the death of, I believe, 2 New York police officers. And the crimes that I'm referring to are when he lied to the grand jury about what happened to Michael Brown. He lied about what he said happened with Officer Dorian Wilson. You know, the hands up, don't shoot bullshit. Hands up, don't shoot. Well, that was never what happened. But that went viral. Even football players going onto the field did the hands up, don't shoot. People in New York rioted with the, well, they didn't riot. What they did is they had marches with the hands up, don't shoot. None of it was real. Well, the title of this attached article, Karma Comes for Ferguson Liar. Dorian Johnston arrested on drug charges, resisting arrest. What should really happen is they should throw the book at this guy because, again, people died based on his lies. And countless property was lost based on his lies and based on the fanning of the flames by Al Sharpton and the previous Attorney General Eric H. Holder Jr. The article starts off by saying Dorian Johnston, the man who was with Michael Brown when he strong-armed a store owner and was later killed by Officer Dorian Wilson, has been arrested on drug charges, according to the St. Louis Post-Dispatch, and resisting arrest, to the surprise of few. Johnston is the originator of the, quote, hands up, don't shoot, and the, quote, myth that demonstrators rallied around for months. His claim that Brown was surrendering when he was killed was proven to be a lie in grand jury testimony. The Post-Dispatch reported Johnston and 2 of his brothers were arrested Wednesday afternoon in St. Louis. Police said one of the brothers is wanted in a nearby Bridgeton on warrants for armed robbery and armed criminal action. Does any of this surprise anyone? Johnston, who was hired to work for the city of St. Louis following Brown's death, was arrested for allegedly possessing a cough medication mixed with an illegal narcotic. Interesting, is it not? There's a little more, not much more, other than what I've already read you. But I also made a video on this as well, and it does state this. He recently filed a lawsuit against the city of Ferguson, claiming Wilson assaulted him, violated his constitutional rights, and inflicted emotional pain. Well, what about the emotional pain that he inflicted on the families of the 2 officers that were slain? Those officers probably would still be alive today if it wasn't for the hands up, don't shoot bullshit. Yeah. This is completely insane. He needs to be charged for the hands up, don't shoot lies. You lie to a grand jury, there are repercussions, and it's been proven that he lied. So what are they waiting for? This guy needs to be thrown into a cell and left there for a very, very long time. That's sort of what I think. You might want to write to the new Attorney General, Loretta Lynch, and ask her why he's not being charged for having lied to a grand jury. You might also want to ask her why the stepfather of Michael Brown isn't being charged for inciting riots that resulted in the destruction of, I believe, 18 buildings and the loss of employment for countless African Americans that worked in those businesses. You might also want to ask her why the governor, Nixon, isn't being charged for having sat back and not asked the National Guard to protect the properties of those that worked and lived in Ferguson. He was eager to prosecute Dorian Wilson. He used to be a prosecutor before he became governor, and he was ready to lynch Officer Wilson. The whole thing is insane. You've got a corrupt sewer in our government. And you know what? Ferguson and Missouri's governor isn't the only one. They're everywhere. Incompetent people in key positions, like Rahm Emanuel. Rahm Emanuel should never have been able to run for mayor. He wasn't a citizen of Illinois for a year. He was in D.C. He was the chosen one's chief of staff. But what they did is they changed the rules to accommodate him. And look what's happened to Chicago. It's going further down the sewer. Anyway, I've said enough. I'm hoping people pick up a pen, go to their keyboard, and type a letter to the new Attorney General and ask Loretta Lynch why Dorian Johnston wasn't arrested and prosecuted for the lies to a grand jury that resulted in the deaths, I believe, of 2 New York police officers. That's sort of what I think. What do you think?